You know, we've been all taught in some ways that all men think about is sex. And sure thing, this may be true for a percentage of, the male population, but there are certain things some men need more than sex. And I am here to talk about them. That is the 5 crucial things men crave more than sex from women. Now, what a man needs from a woman usually depends more on his priorities and the stage that he is in life than his gender. An 18-year-old guy is more likely to think that sex is the best thing that he can get from a woman at that stage. But ask the same guy what he wants 30 years later. It probably has changed. It's just a basic law of psychology that we're always attracted to what we don't have. And in most cases, we will value what we don't have and take for granted what we already have. And that's same for when a man first meets a beautiful woman he desires. He thinks to himself, I want her. I need her. She's beautiful. I think I want to be with her. She has the embodiment of what I crave in a woman. And that man will do everything possible to seduce and attract that woman with the hope of having her love and maybe also having sex with her someday, because it's always at the back of their minds. Now, what I'm trying to say is that when a man meets you, just know that you're always on a pedestal. Whatever pedestal that is, be it low pedestal or high pedestal, you're always going to be on a pedestal when a man first meets you. And that's why it's important that you position yourself and carry yourself in a certain way that demands respect, because a man has got to fight to get you as a woman, from getting your number to setting up the first date and having the first kiss. He has to make sure that he does everything right. Why? Because he loves the chase and the challenge, hence he becomes motivated. But if after a few weeks or months you let down your guard and you stop being a challenge in any way, shape, or form, he will start taking you for granted. And this is true for both men and women. Now, many relationships break up because it's become boring and predictable. And boredom here isn't just in terms of experiences, it's more about routine and unmet desires. Now, there are a few needs that, if not met, can quickly make everything else, including sex, lose its meaning in relationship. And the number one thing that men crave more than mad sex is respect. And not just respect, but respect that comes with no conditions. This one is hard because most women will only give a man respect when they feel he's earned it. If he is unable to do the primary things that a responsible man should do for his home or for his family, she would look at him differently. If there's a period where he's unable to settle the bills, her level of respect drops. It's natural. However, what most women don't understand is that giving your man respect first would not only encourage him to act more courageous or generous and kind towards you, he would also love you and respect you more for it. So when you respect him first, you're effectively creating a positive feedback. The more respect you will give him, the better he will act, not the other way around. Now, secondly, a man craves the importance of a woman's energy. As much as we women would complain about men being unable to express themselves effectively, we as women can also have it wrong with understanding the emotional side of men most times. Now, the bitter truth is that a lot of women do not know how to nurture a conversation when a guy finally opens up to them. Because it takes a long period of time for a guy to actually open up to a woman, even if he truly, truly loves her. Men are not a lot of men are able to open up about their lives, their businesses, and all that good stuff that women crave men to open up about. So when we now finally have that man who now opens up, we don't know how to nurture that conversation when he finally opens up to us, especially if it doesn't align with our morals or something that we think it should align with. And so what we do is that we attack, we disqualify, or we devalue our men's feelings as being too emotional, making him feel weird about it. Somehow, most women will create an environment where the man doesn't feel comfortable continuously to open up to them about their daily activities. And that's why most men don't really talk about the most important stuff that went on around their day. Most men don't even talk about their businesses to their women, because either the woman is not emotionally smart to handle the intricacies of the business, or she is not emotionally smart enough to understand when to talk and when not to talk, when to criticize and how to criticize if you were to criticize him. Do you get what I mean? So we find that men now close up. Men need women who can put in their emotional energy in such a way that it complements their masculinity, or complements their masculine energy in ways that they could never have it with their fellow men. So all I'm trying to say is that a man needs a woman who can listen and believe in him, who is going to pour positive energy into his life. Men already have a lot of pressure that they have to face, or they have to handle when they step out of the door. As much as women will want to talk about a lot of things that women deal with, there are a lot of things that weigh on a man that makes it hard for him to feel confident and ambitious enough to do the things that he wants to do. Hence, it is a powerful and valuable thing for a man to have a woman who can pour positive energy into him and make him feel good about who he is and what he can become. You're the queen maker. So if you cannot make him, build him in such a way that even when the world shreds on him or steps on him, he comes back home, he has that discussion with you, and he's more emboldened to step into the world the next day. If you're not that sort of woman who brings that energy, nurturing energy to him at times like this, then he will not be excited to want to make love to you or to have sex with you, because what are you bringing actually to the table? When I ask the question, what are you bringing to the table? I'm not talking in terms of money now, okay? I'm talking in terms of emotional support, in terms of brains, conversation, how you handle his emotion as a man. Now, another thing that men crave, which is the third thing, is the challenge. Men crave challenge. If you're not challenging your man, you're not doing enough. You're not doing enough to bring out that one thing that makes him a man, which is challenge. And that's why a man wakes up every day and he goes into the world to source for food, to create businesses. He goes into the world with his horn to fight doggedly because he loves the challenge. He loves the thrill. They're like dogs. If you do not walk them to the park every day, or sometimes they get pretty much aggressive, or some get docile. All right. So if you want to keep your man on his toes and make him crave the excitement you bring, then you have to create some level of challenge in that relationship. He craves challenge more than sex. That's basically what gets his joystick to stand. Challenge. It's exciting. Because the truth is, nowadays, especially if you live in big cities like Abuja, Lagos, or anywhere in the world, London, it becomes quite easy to have sex with a woman. Women have become too easy, too cheap, too accessible. It's become quite too easy to get to have sex with a woman, and much less for money. No effort is needed for most men to put in to get a woman to spread her legs. Put in some queens and she's spreading her legs. But then again, even though there are plenty of options for men to have sex, trust me when I say that a man still gets intrigued by a girl or by a woman that challenges him. When a woman or when a girl respects and values herself, she doesn't give in to sex easily. Men find this really intriguing. Why? Because it is masculine to want to achieve and dominate, to conquer. Listen, the fact of the matter is that men are driven by their testosterone, and the testosterone leads to aggressiveness, dominance, and competitiveness, meaning that a man is more likely to be thrilled by the competition than achieving the goal itself. And that's why it's imperative for you to have to keep him waiting to earn the goal. Oh, he's going to move on to the next girl. So what if? What if he does? Listen, the moment you start operating from a place of scarcity, that's the moment you accept the barest minimum from men and get being treated less. You don't need that. If he leaves, it wasn't for you. If he stays to prove and to take up that challenge, then probably he might just be the one who truly, really likes you enough to give that time of day. Men don't give time of day to women that they're not interested in. You need to realize that. So you're not losing in any way, shape, or form. If you make it a lot easier for a man, especially to get in between your legs, if you make it a lot easier for a man to have access to you, he will take it for granted. So they love challenge. That's why they put up the chase every now and then. They love the chase. All right? A man only takes great importance in the things that he pursues. He puts importance in the things that takes his mind away from the day-to-day activities like his work. A man only put importance in the things that occupies his mind. So if you're not occupying his mind just as much as his business is occupying his mind, then he's going to give you the barest minimum, and you will not have the ultimate attention and care that should come from a man. The fourth thing that a man craves more than sex is certainty, having certainty in that relationship. You know, more children are growing up in broken homes where their parents are fighting, divorcing. Many people watch their siblings and friends getting into marriages that ended up in great disaster. Men watch other men lose large amounts of money in terrible divorce battles. And I think as a result of that, men are skeptical about commitment because they do not want to slave for everything. And at the end of the day, because of divorce, what they've slaved for goes to the woman in divorce battles. So this isn't to say that women don't face similar problems in their relationships. These issues are common on both sides. And this is one of the reasons why some men and women are not getting into relationships anymore. No man wants to get hurt or taken advantage of. Hence, a man wants to know that he's making the right choice with the right person, a person who is stable, a person who doesn't see marriage as a gateway to enrich themselves. She's not just going to be there for the good times alone, but also for the bad times, because, I mean, roses are red, but then again, there are thorns around roses. That's what makes it rose. You've got to take the rose and you've got to also accept the thorn. So before he gets into a relationship or he decides that he wants to walk down the aisle, what he craves more than the great sex that you give to him is certainty. And certainty only comes from knowing that your morals, your values aligns with his. And this is why a lot of men would rather be single than, hook up with the wrong person and end up in disaster. In a world where marriages go downhill so fast, having someone you can trust is definitely more valuable than sex, because you want to be in it for the long haul. Now, another thing that's the last one that men crave more than sex is support. And the one thing that modern women like me often forget is that we can't have two alphas in a relationship if you want to be if you want it to be dynamic. I am an alpha female. I'm very strong. I'm very independent. Like, I have more of my masculine energy when it comes to fending for myself, providing for myself. You know, I don't look up to a man to provide for me. I've basically provided for myself since I left since I left home and gone into university. So I've always been masculine, and I'll always be masculine until I find a masculine man who can take charge, you know. So basically, I am an alpha female, right? But I've I've come to the understanding that you can't have two alphas in the same boat. It's never going to work. It's never going to work. So a man needs a woman who is in her feminine energy, because a relationship where there is always competition, you're going to have more issues and it will never stand. So a good way to think of this is as a coach athlete dynamics. If you have an athlete with a good coach, that athlete has a higher chance of growing and becoming a great athlete. You can't have a good athlete without a good coach, and vice versa. So in the same way, women should be like coaches to their men. They should be the support in the corner when their man is in the boxing ring taking blows out there. Men go out every day to take on challenges, and one of the greatest blessings is having a woman who will be there to encourage and motivate them, support them. This gives them a sense of honor and respect in their relationship. And this also invariably makes them want to come back home all the time to their safe haven. So if you're not a safe haven to your man, then apparently he might be craving for some. All right. Indeed, sex is, very important, but sex on its own is just a physical activity that in today's world can easily be gotten from different places. But beyond sex is making love. And what makes love making different from ordinary sex is what happens outside of the bedroom. It's the bond that is formed before sex that makes sex itself memorable. And it's the little things like respect, trust, support that bonds men to us. Men do want sex, but most importantly, they desire a kind of bond and connection from their women that will transform sex into lovemaking. Are you understanding what I'm saying? So these are the 5 things that I think that men crave much more than sex. So if you can imbibe this in your relationship, there might be some difference in the lovemaking. Okay? Until I come your way, do know that I love you. And my name is Jane Lawrence. If you do love my content, do well to subscribe and share with your friends and family. Ciao till I see you when I see you, and happy new month in advance. We're stepping into my birthday month, December, and I can't wait.